Welcome to meditation today. So I invite you now to find a comfortable but alert position where you can relax, but where you can also focus. So a nice straight back, head nicely and centrally balanced. If you're sitting up, feet flat on the floor and hands comfortably folded in your lap. Or if you prefer, you can lie down. Now I invite you to become aware of everything you can hear where you are, and listening to the sound of the bell, just tinkling, giving it your complete attention. And as the bell fades, listen to the sounds that you can hear where you are. Tuning in to the sense of hearing. Obvious sounds. And then more subtle sounds. Sounds of your own body. Your breathing, swallowing. But listening even more intently. Trying to become aware of the background vibration in your own hearing system. Is it a vibration or a tingling or a ringing? And as you listen intently, does that sound grow? Can you discern more elements to it? Just be curious. Now choosing to move our attention to something else. To the quality of light around us. I invite you to close your eyes. You may of course keep them open if you prefer. If your eyes are closed, beyond your closed eyelids, the patterns of light that form. And having the sense that you can allow the light to wash over you, you allow the sounds to wash over you, that you haven't got to react or tense to them, you can just relax into them. It's just being aware of what it's like here and now, without needing to think of anything else. And similarly becoming aware of the quality of the air in the room, its temperature against your skin, what it's like to breathe it. And now noticing a sensation against your skin, a sensation of clothing, a texture of fabric, of tightness or looseness. Now taking your attention to the soles of the feet and noticing how the soles of the feet feel. Feeling your way in. If you're wearing footwear, notice the areas of contact and how the footwear feels around your feet. Notice how warm or cool your feet may be, or maybe the pressure of where your feet meet the floor. Notice between your toes, the tips of your toes, the sides of your feet and the heels, and the tops of your feet. As you pay attention to sensation, you're not trying to change anything or to produce anything, you're just noticing. But notice that when you do pay attention, what happens? Do the sensations remain the same? Do they intensify? Or do they fade away? Just be curious. And allowing your awareness to creep up your ankles. Just noticing sensation. Fully inhabiting your body, accepting how it feels. Shins and calves. To your knees. And through the knees to the thighs. Maybe you can feel the fabric of your clothing stretched over your knees, or perhaps the sensation of the chair on which you're sat, or if you're lying in a bed, how the floor or the bed feels underneath you. Just noticing different areas of pressure and temperature. Being aware of your tummy muscles, allowing them to soften so that they may be moved by the breath. The lower back. Going up to the ribs, the middle of the back. The area under the arch of the ribs, the solar plexus. Again, seeing if you can just allow the muscles to soften so that the breath can move the body gently. As you work your way up to the chest, the shoulder blades. Some people, when they pay attention, are able to have a sense of the heart beating, whether that's as a sound or a sensation. Let's focus on the area in the middle of the chest for a moment. And coming up to the top of the chest, around the collarbones, the shoulders. Allowing your awareness to flow down the arms. Forearms, and the hands and the fingers, between the fingers and the thumbs, all the way to the fingertips and the tips of the thumbs. Maybe noticing a sense of tingling. Again, paying attention to whether the fingers are warm or cool. Not trying to change anything, just noticing what those sensations are like. And coming back to the neck. Working the way to the head, the scalp. Noticing whether you can Allow the scalp to smooth out, to the forehead to smooth out, the temples, muscles around the eyes and the jaw. And now in your mind's eye, I invite you on a lovely walk. Anywhere that's relaxing for you. You can choose your own place. Whether that's a beautiful beach or a lovely garden, anywhere you find calming and relaxing. So in your own time now and in your mind's eye, strolling down to this lovely place and noticing everything you can see. As you breathe in the good air, maybe you can notice colours, objects, perhaps you can see the sky. Maybe there are plants or trees or perhaps water. Whatever features there are, notice all the different shapes and textures and colours. And similarly, listen to the sounds. Notice whether maybe you can hear a breeze in trees or perhaps the sound of water. If you are on a beach, perhaps the sound of the ocean, or maybe a bird singing. Wherever you are in your own special place, listen and smell, breathe the air. Maybe you can smell flowers or just the smell of fresh air. And perhaps you can even feel the freshness of air on your skin or perhaps the warmth of the sun. You can just soak that in, the goodness and freshness of your own special place. And as you stroll along, I'm going to tell you a story. And you can just enjoy the walk, and perhaps another deeper part of your mind can listen to the story as you just enjoy the walk. And this story concerns a very high kingdom, very ancient, very distant, in the high places of creation. And this kingdom was ruled over by a very wise king and queen, very wise and very compassionate. And this kingdom has survived for such a long time because it was ruled so well and because the people really bought in to the governance of their society. And they had learned through trial and error how to live well together, how to do work that really fulfilled them, how to bring up their children and to educate them in the ways of their community, so that everybody had a part to play and that everybody felt cared for and deeply fulfilled, that the right sorts of things were valued. And when people had difficulties, they knew and they had learnt just how to help them. But this kingdom survived because they had a very special tradition that when their young people got to a certain stage of development and education, they were sent out on a special mission, an adventure of sorts. That on a certain special day of the year they would be prepared, they would be taught what to expect, and they would be sent on a mission into the lower kingdoms. The lower kingdoms that perhaps didn't even know of the existence of this higher kingdom. And the youngsters would be prepared and disguised and dressed in the clothing of those lower kingdoms. They would be taught the customs of these lower kingdoms. And their task was, under cover of darkness, to descend into these lower places and to discover some special treasure that was hidden there, so that they could bring it back to their own home so that their own kingdom could be sustained. But there was a problem. When they went to those lower places, the air became denser and harder to breathe, and there was a period of adaptation they needed to go through. And the food and the water was not what they were used to. And mixing with these people and conversing with them and becoming distracted, because of all the combination of these factors, it was very common that the young people would get befuddled, would get confused, would actually forget where they were from, would forget the mission that they'd been sent to accomplish, forgetting all about the treasure and about the necessity of returning it to their own kingdom. But they were given all sorts of instructions to help them, all sorts of training, and then they were sent out into these lower places to begin their quest. For sure enough, as soon as they began breathing that denser air and eating the food and drinking the water and the other drinks that were available, as soon as they began mixing and forming relationships, many of them did get confused, many of them did forget. And they got jobs and they formed relationships and they found places to live and life carried on. But these people still had within them a nagging sense that something was wrong, that something was missing, that there was something they should be remembering, something they should be doing. And once they couldn't quite put their finger on it, they were haunted by a sense of restlessness they couldn't quite understand. But of course their elders hadn't forgotten them. And by some technology they continued to watch over them. And the elders who were trained to a higher standard disguised themselves occasionally and would visit and would, as it were, arrange an encounter where some words would be exchanged, where a clue would be given, where a hint or a nudge to wake up, to remember. Sometimes they would arrange that a piece of music would be playing, or a piece of poetry would be heard, or perhaps a book would be left in somebody's pathway. All sorts of ways these elders tried to nudge and awaken the youngsters. And occasionally, we are told, a youngster would suddenly awaken and they would remember why they were there and they would take up their quest and the real adventure would begin. And then through many hardships and many trials, they would indeed work hard to discover the treasure that was available in these lower kingdoms. And they would make their way back to their own homes. And legend has it that that upper kingdom is still there to this day. And now back to your own walk, in your own special place, breathing in the good air, enjoying everything you can see, colours and shapes and things that are there, listening to the sounds, feeling what it's like to be there, strolling on, allowing the beauty and goodness of this place to nurture you, to soak into you. That's good. Just enjoying this time. And now as you stroll along, you can allow your unconscious mind to do something special for you. That when you come back to your own room, you'll be able to bring back all the peace and calm that you have in your own special place. So that for the rest of the day you can feel perhaps a sense of inner stillness, or a different sense of peace or calm. And your unconscious mind knows exactly how to do this. So as you just stroll on for a few more moments, your unconscious mind can identify how, and also to remember how to sleep really well tonight. And all the things that can make all the difference to how you feel and function for your own good. So as you just enjoy the walk, your unconscious mind can remind itself to do all these good things for you. And also to take away what it wants to from the story, to learn what it wants to learn, perhaps to put in practice what it thinks it should at this time. That's good. So now, once more, becoming aware of the sensations of your body where you are. Perhaps the sensation of the chair on which you're sat, or where you're lying, or the sense of the clothing against your skin, or the air against your skin, or how it is to breathe. Maybe the sounds around you, quality of light beyond your eyelids. That's good. In a moment you'll hear the sound of the bell again, and when the bell stops tinkling, when you're ready, you can open your eyes.